Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamerdad, with another video for you. So if you check your inbox, you will notice that there is a new notice in here, version 3.1.700. So I do believe this is going to be an in-game update. You don't have to go to the App Store or Play Store. And in this update, we have the long-awaited unit, at least for me. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but for sure, for me, another style, Devotroid. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So I'm actually quite glad that this update patch notes dropped tonight in preparation for tomorrow because, as some of you may know, I was actually on vacation the last week with intermittent internet service, and so I was afraid that I would miss out on the first opportunity to attempt to get this unit by summoning on it. So I'm back and unfortunately headed back to work tomorrow, but that being said, since my schedule is back to normal, hopefully I'll be able to play tomorrow evening. Also, last night, they did release an August 2023 developer letter, and I believe it is specific to global. Every month, they're going to release one kind of letter from the developers, kind of briefing us on what they're planning to do or what has been done or what they're going to do in terms of having global catch up to Japan. And if you read the August letter, which like I said got released last night, they have a few quality of life things. They're going to actually give little packets such that, for example, I can't remember all the details. Some of them were great, like giving all of us some extra pain grass, which some of you haven't farmed, making cost of certain items for farming, like bearings, which is from the main story part 3, lower in cost. There's a few other things out there so that they understand that many of us don't have all the time to play to kind of catch up from global to Japan, because if you have been following along, we are slated to get closer and closer, because the idea is that we're going to be simultaneous with Japan releases in the future. Now, that being said, I know a lot of you are apprehensive because the main advantage that Global had, which is obviously seeing into the future as to what units are going to be released, is going to be gone once we catch up. And so Global players will have to be a lot more careful when summoning or planning to summon, as opposed to just, we can see 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. We know exactly who to save for and who not to save for. And so as much as it is a little bit scary, hey, keep in mind, Japan's been doing this all this time, and their game is still going strong. I'm sure us global players can show Japan what we have in terms of our skill in summoning. Now, that being said, AS Premaya is here. And so, I don't have any form of Premaya, of course. When she first got released, she had this kind of, I believe she has some sort of one-shot kill where she essentially can do a one attack, and it's perma-stunned after that. I believe you can't remove the stun, unlike, for example, Pry, where you can remove the stun during the AF. Once she did that one attack, is it called Annihilation or something like that? Then that's it for her. So basically, you build up the multi-stacks in AF like, how we do nowadays, and you just press that one button at the end, and you usually killed any bosses at the time. Because, remember, that was like long time ago. I don't even remember if people had HP stopper. Certainly no barrier pierce was required or anything like that. And so I think the mod was somewhere in the 400 or 500 level percentage wise, and nowadays we see 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and so it brings back some reminiscing to the earlier, more innocent times with the game. Now, that being said, AS Premaya is long overdue. I mean, we've already seen the Ultra version, aka Silver Striker, and so it's curious to see how they're going to kind of write into this storyline with her. Now, that being said, she still is an Earth Pierce unit. One of her interesting mechanics with the AS version is that she is built to add depth to an all-Earth team. And some of her passive skills are benefiting all-Earth teams. She has a stack that basically stacks one orb on each Earth character in the front line. And that means you can get a max of 4 because she is also an Earth unit. And at the end of turn, depending on the number of stacks, which you hope to have 4, she can do an end of turn attack Earth Pierce AoE, which can do a fairly significant amount of damage, basically free. And so if people have, for example, Victor AS or even Mystere AS, those end of turn attacks can be quite lethal, especially if you can buff those, and obviously debuff the enemy as well. So that's a very unique mechanic. I'm sure there are going to be ways to abuse the crap out of that. Now, in terms of her other moves, she was one of those units early on that actually had both slash and pierce attacks, although her main attacks are pierce. And so she retains her 4-star moves, which are essentially, she has a couple of slash attacks that reduce slash and pierce resistance up to 50%. And therefore, she was able to help support any sort of most physical Earth teams. Now, in terms of her main DPS, she can do an Earth Pierce AoE XL, inflicts pain, boosts Earth type attack of all party members 50%, stackable up to 100% with 3 stacks. And if you have enough orbs stacked, remember that depending on how many frontline Earth units you'll have up to 4 stacks, it'll allow her mod to be a lot higher. So again, to bring out the most in her, you do have to put her in an all-Earth team. I'm sure she can contribute to in Pierce teams and something like that, but really, she's going to drop in damage quite tremendously out of that. That being said, her other move for her AS does have a modest, I say modest, power and int down 35%. It's not 50. However, she can give shield, which is a HP shield, to all party members equal to 30% of the max HP, and that can max out at 2000 HP. So again, increases our defense to help our team survive. She also can give type res 50% up in the same move, status immunity 1 time, and at the end of turn also, she does give a 20% additional barrier to all party members for 1 hit. So she has a lot of defensive abilities, which makes sense. I mean, she is kind of a part robot kind of thing from what you can see here. And so she's got some defense, she's got some decent offense, and again, that free end of turn attack will be very interesting to play around with. Alright, so of course we have a whole bunch of banners associated with AS Premaya. The standard free one, the Fateful. There is also an Earth Force edition. So remember how I said that she plays well in an all-Earth team? So you can clearly see if you are relatively new to game and you don't have a lot of Earth units, they do have a Fateful encounter which guarantees one of these 5 Earth units. Of course, actually not even guaranteed, only 10% times 5. We do have Ultra Shannon, Violent Lancer, which you see me use all the time, Odoha AS, and Daisy, which some people do use for defensive, delayed non-AF strategies. So the other 50% obviously will be a random 5-star, but hey, 50% chance of getting one of these 5 Earth units, some of which are still meta, not bad. And an extra Faithful, which is, I think this will help people catch up, especially if they are newer to the game. It looks like it's a main story special edition available, 3 times max. You will encounter guaranteed one of these 8, so 12.5% each. Some of them you might like, some of them you might not like. I see Minolka, obviously, aka, note that it doesn't say with Tetra. Yes, you do get Tetra if you summon for Minolka. Nakoko AS, Garam, Hina, Sukiya, Kikyo, Yukino, and Tsubame. Not bad. I'll cover this more, of course, in my Should You Summon video tomorrow. Now, the interesting part about this, I was not expecting, is a re-encounter with Tetra. So again, some of the devs' efforts to help global players kind of catch up. We have a re-encounter, which is the basically reintroduction to the banner. 1%, and this should be a free banner, so it doesn't look like a paid banner. So if you have some free stones, and I'm not sure how many stones we all have after summoning on the most recent units, but yeah, it's there at a flat 1% chance. And finally, another, I don't even know if this is a Fateful. It says 3 times max, so I'm assuming yes, and in which case you get some older characters that you can have, I guess, to round out your team. Most of them are only normal style and not really a meta at this point. However, if you're interested in getting it, well, you know, there is that as well. Well, now one other interesting thing is that there is a small update with this as well. Ruina AS has a manifest that will be released tomorrow, and unfortunately what that means is that Ruina AS will be shared in the banner most likely with Premaya AS, making it much harder to get any form of Premaya. So I haven't even side graded my Ruina, so I won't have the manifested battle right upon release, just because if I do summon for Premaya AS, there is a chance I will get Ruina AS as well. So I will have that video delayed. If I do not hit Ruina AS, I will manually side grade her and then attempt the fight at that point. So I do apologize for not having it as of the release tomorrow. And you can now watch some character quests in the replay story. So I think some of the most interesting ones will be Miyu, for example. Characters that you probably have forgotten, but or did a long time ago. Yifa would be another interesting one. Mario, for example, and so on and so forth. I mean, some of the 4-star ones, maybe not. But even Sora, as I did the AS one off channel, I did forget some of her earlier ones, and she is quite an interesting character. Okay. So again, as part of the development per notes, they did make some things easier. So the beginner difficulty to main story part 3, that means that the farming of all those stupid preemptive fights will be easier to do for all of us who got frustrated with main story part 3. Note that the beginner difficulty will not modify the difficulties for the S-class bounty hunt. Those are considered optional bosses and super bosses, and those will not be reduced in difficulty, mainly just the main story bosses as well as farming the regular mobs and horrors. Note that because Ruina AS is now getting a manifest, she's going to have her modification in terms of the wording of her moves, and I think that's to clear things up because they must obviously increase or improve on her once her manifest comes out. So bear in mind that it's just a wording, nothing special. So you can see a bunch of different things. Take note that if you do need any of these to help you catch up, then take advantage of that, especially Grasta Awakening. Like, if you're newer to the game and you don't have a bunch of, those fragments and stuff like that, I think this will also... Oh, darn it. Does not apply to VC Grastas. No, it's only attack, life, and support. Because I was going to say, I can grind out a whole bunch of VC Grastas. Nope, just for the normal stuff. And, again, free stuff that I mentioned earlier in the video. They'll give you some free badges, some... extra Grasta, and so on and so forth. So not even bad. Okay, so let me know. You definitely need to do this survey, which will come out tomorrow evening. They want to hear about how your feedback on the updates are going to be, especially catching up to Japan. So let them know how you feel. I mean, I will try to be honest. Don't be shall I say selfish or just kind of like doing it for yourself. Try to think about what's best for the game instead of just, oh no, I don't have foresight to summon on future banners. Because at the end of the day, we do want a unified front, and there are some legitimate things we can complain about, but other things, hopefully you can give them praise for what is due for praise and criticism for what is due for criticism. That being said, make sure you fill it out because you want a free 10 poll, don't you? Okay, so let me know in the comments below what you are going to do with this update. Do you have AS Ruina ready to go? Or are you planning to summon a Premaya? For myself, you already heard my plans. I'm very likely to be summoning on this banner, and depending on my results, I will either manually or already just upgrade AS Ruina to fight that manifest. The rest of the the update doesn't really help me because I've caught up for most of the story content, and I do have spent enough bearings to get all the main things, and I have plenty of Grasta from my years in playing as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.